welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to continue with our discussion on how to look for the lowest common multiple of numbers. So when we are talking about looking for the lowest common multiple, it is very important to understand this concept because there are so many things we are going to use it for as time goes on. One of them is addition and subtraction of fraction, which I've done a video on, and another one is linear equation involving fractions and even simultaneous equation involving fractions. You have to understand this concept so that you are able to solve when you get to those levels. So the first number we have here is 2, 6, and 18. One thing I would like to discuss here is whenever you are given a set of numbers, and not only set of numbers, but whenever you have any set of number, whether the one you are given or the one in the table, where all the whole smaller numbers, they are a factor of the bigger one. In this case, you can see that 2 and 6, they are factors of 18. What does it mean for something to be factor of something, of a number, for a number to be a factor of another number? It simply means that that number can go evenly into the bigger number or the number that it is a factor of without remainder. So here we have 2, 6, and 18. You can see that 2 and 6 they are a factor of 18. So you don't need to solve anything. You just know that 18 is the LCM of this number. So now, how do you solve? First of all, I would like to explain what is going on in the table. In the table here we have 2, 6, and 18. This is the division column. This is the division column, and whatever is on the first row of the division column will give you all the number on the second row, excluding the division column, excluding the number on the second row in the division column. Whatever is in the second row of the division column will give you all what is on the third row of the division of the column of the table, I mean to say. And then whatever is on the third row will give you everything on the fourth row. That means that this one is dividing everything that is here. This one is dividing everything that is here to give you the numbers that are here. And this one is dividing everything that is here to give you what is here. So how do we solve now? First of all, you can just look for any number that can go in either one of this number, maybe 2, or two of the number given, and or the whole 3 number, or the whole number you are given. So here we have 2, 6, and 18. We know that 2 can go in 2, 2 can go in 6, and 2 can go in 18. So here we can start with 2. So I'm going to say 2 divided by 2, that will give you 1. 6 divided by 2, that will give you 3. And 18 divided by 2, that will give you 9. Now we have 1, 3, and 9. Now I can use this one because we have 1, 3, and 9. We know that there is a number that can go in both 3 and 9. So, and that number is no other number than 3. So we are going to use 3 to carry out our division again. So 1 divided by 3 cannot go. Whenever you have a number that cannot go evenly, you write that number again. That's why we have 1 here. 3 divided by 3 will give you 1. 9 divided by 3 will give you 3. And that is exactly how you do that place. Now we have 1, 1, and 3. What we need to do is we need to say 3. We have to look for any number that can go in either one of this number, or at least one of this number, or the whole of the number you are given. Here we know 3 can go, so we say 1 divided by 3. It cannot go, so we write our 1 back. It cannot go evenly, so we write our 1 back. 1 divided by 3 again, write our 1 back. 3 divided by 3, that will give you 1. So you keep dividing until the whole bottom of the table is 1. So what are you going to do? All the whole number on the division column will give you the LCM. And if you multiply all this number, let me pull out my calculator now. If you multiply all this number, we have 2 times 3 times 3, that will give you 18. So once we multiply everything, you see our answer is 18. And that's exactly how we can look for the LCM using that example. Now don't forget one of the basic things I explained is that whenever you have what any smaller number or the only number you are given is a factor of the biggest one, all the whole small number they are given, they are all factor of the what bigger number, and it has to be just one big number. Then you can do what? You can use what? The trick by knowing that the bigger number is what? The LCM. So now let's proceed. So let's go to number 2. Number 2 here we have what? 15, 30 and 90. Now what I want to explain here is still the same process, is still the same trick that we just dealt with here. Here we have what? 15, 30 and 90. 15, 30 and 90. You know that 90 can be divided by 15 and 90 can also be divided by 30. That means 15 and 30 are factors of what? 90. And that's exactly what we're going to do again. We're going to put everything on our table. We have 15, 30 and 90. What can go in 15, that can go in 30, that can go in 90? If there's any number that can go, you use that number. So we know that what? 3 can go in 15, 30 and 90, so we use 3 here. 15 divided by 3, that will give you 5. 30 divided by 3, that will give you 10. And 90 divided by 3, that will give you 90. Here we have what? 5, 10 and 30. Is there any number that can go in all of this number? Of course there is, and that's what? 5. So 5 divided by 5, that will give you 1. 10 divided by 5, that will give you 2. 30 divided by 5, that will give you 6. Now we have what? 1, 2 and 6. Yeah, you can just make use of the trick that we are talking about again. That is, I'm just trying to show you that you can use this trick anywhere in the table. We have 1, 2 and 6. We know that 1 and 2 are what? Factors of what? 6. So we can just multiply we can just know that this whole place will be 6. But here we want to divide it accordingly, so we use what? The number 2. So we're going to say 1 divided by 2, that will give you 1. 2 divided by 2, that will give you 1. And 6 divided by 2, that will give you what? 6 divided by 2, that will give you 3. So I left it 1, 1, 3. Now we can use 3 to divide the whole of the number and get 1, 1, 1. You multiply everything together and you're going to have your what? LCM. So here we are going to have 3 times 5 times 2 times 3, that will give you what? 90. Now let's go to another example. This is example 3. We have 16, 18, 25 and 90. Now we put our numbers in the table back. Now though here we are given 4 different numbers, we are still going to use the exact same procedure to get our LCM. We are still going to follow this same procedure to get our LCM. So what we just need to do is what? All we need to do is understand the way we are going to go about this whole thing. So once we put our numbers in a table here, then we are going to start with the smallest of all of them and see if there's any number that can go in what? This number, this number, this number, and this number. But from what you can see here, we know that there's a number that can go in 16 and go in 18. But we don't know any number that can go in 25 and 90 that can also go in 16 and 18. So we can use what? 2. 16 divided by 2 will give you 8, and 18 divided by 2 will give you 9. But 2 cannot go in 25. We write 25 back, and 90 cannot be divided by 25. So we write 90 cannot be divided by 2. 90 can be divided by 2, and to give you what? 45, I mean. So now we have what? 2, 8, 9, and 25. What do we do after this one? We look at all our numbers again. We know we have what? 8, 9, 25, and 45. We know that what? There's a number that can divide what? 9, that can also divide what? 45. But most importantly, we can start with the what? Smaller number, which is 8 here. We know that 2 can go in 8, so we write what? 4, because 8 divided by 2 will give you what? 4. We know that there is no 9 cannot be divided by 2, so we write 9 back. 25 cannot be divided by 2, we write 25 back. And what? 45 cannot be divided by 2, so we write what? 45 back. We use 4 here, since there is 4 here, and 4 is the only number that can be divided by this. So we are going to do what? Divide it, and we are going to have what? 1. 4 divided by 4, that's 1. 9 cannot be divided by 4, we write 9 back. 25 cannot be divided by 4, we write 25 back. And 45 cannot be divided by 4, so we write what? 45 back. Now we have what? 9, 25, and 45. If we start from the lower number, which is 9, we know that 9 can be divided by what? 3. So we are going to have what? 9 divided by 3, that will give you what? 3. 1 divided by 3, that will give you what? 1, since it cannot go even if we write it back. Now we have 25 divided by 3, is impossible to write 25 back, but 45 divided by 3, that will give you what? 15. Now moving to the next place, we have what? 3, we can still use 3 because we have 3 here and we have 15 here. So 1 divided by 3, that will give you what? 1, and 3 divided by 3, that will give you 1. 25 divided by 3 cannot go, and we have what? 15 divided by 3 will give you what? 5. So what can we do here? We can simply, I'm not only trying to explain properly, but see, here we have what? We can use our principle because of what? 5 is a factor of 25, so we can just multiply this place by 25. In fact, we can use that principle as early as what? As early as this place. We can use that principle. Even when we're solving here, we can use that principle as early as what? This place. So you don't need to divide. Once you understand this principle, you can easily solve. As you can see, 5 and 10, they are factor of what? 30. So you can just put 30 here, and 30 times 3 would have given us what? 90. That is why it's important to understand this trick, because it can make work a lot easier. So once we divide everything by 5, we're going to get what? 1151. And we divide by 5 again and we get 111. Remember, you keep on dividing until the whole base is 1. The whole bottom of the table is what? 1. If you multiply all this whole thing together, we are going to get our answer as 3,600 or 3,600, like some would like to call it. So that is how you solve what? For the LCM. And it is important to understand this concept, like I said, because we make use of it a lot. So let's continue on our discussion on LCM. This is number 4 and this is number 5. There is something I want to explain particularly about number 4, and this is very, very important for you to understand so that you can reduce the amount of time you spend dividing endlessly. So here we have what? We have 14, 22 and 39. If you put all these numbers in your table, now I've explained the way you divide. So you look for any number that can go in either one of this number, 2, or the whole of this number. Either one of the number, 2 of the number, or the whole of the number. So here we're going to have what? 2. 2 can go in 14 and 2 can go in 22. 2 can go in 14, that will give you 7, and 22 divided by 2, that will give you what? 11. 39 cannot be divided by 2. And when you have something that cannot divide only into a number, you write 39 back. And that's exactly what we have here. So here now, we have what? 7, 11, and 39. Is there a number that can go in what? Is there a number that can go in what? Any of this number. So we know that 3 can go. So we have what? 3 can go in 39. That will give you what? 7, 11, and 13. The reason why we put 7, 11, and 13 is because of 7 cannot be divided by 3 and 11 cannot be divided by 3. So we have what? 7, 11, and 13. Now, if you look at all the whole of this number, you will see that all these numbers, they are what? They are prime numbers. And whenever you have prime numbers and you want to look for the LCM, all you need to do is just what? Put them back here. As you can see, you see the table that everything that is here is the same thing as everything that is here. So whenever you have a fraction that all the whole denominators are prime numbers, all you need to do is what? Multiply the whole of that denominator. Or you have a fraction that there is nothing that can go, there is nothing that can go in any of them, that can only go in one of them. For example, here now you can see it's only 7 that can divide 7, it's only 11 that can divide 11, and it's only 13 that can divide 13. That's why they are all here on the division column. So when you have a situation like that, you know at what? All you need to do is what? Put your whole prime number back here. So if you multiply the whole of these numbers now, let me pull out my calculator. We have 2 times 3 times 7 times 11 times 13. If we equate that, we are going to have 606, which is exactly what we have. So that is all about number what? Number 4. Let's go to number 5. We have 18, 36 and 54. 18, 36 and 54. Is there a number that can go in any of these two numbers? We know that what 18 is divided by what 2, 36 is also divided by 2, and 54 is also divided by 2. Is divisible by 2. So what we need to do is what? Use that number. So here we have what? 9, 18 and 27. Now if you look at 9, 18 and 27, we know that what? 9 can go in 9 and 9 can also go in 18 and 9 can go in 27. So let's divide this place by what? 9. So 9 divided by 9, that will give you 1. 18 divided by 9, that will give you 2. And 27 divided by 9, that will give you what? 3. Here we have what? We have 1, 2 and 3. And if you look at these numbers here, they are all what? Prime numbers. So we just put them back into the table. If you don't want to put them like, you can still go ahead and do your normal division. You have 1 divided by 2, that will give you what? 1. 2 divided by 2, that will give you 1. And 3 divided by 2, that will give you what? 3, because it cannot go evenly. You do the same thing and then you get your answer. You multiply the whole of everything, the whole number on the division column. 2 times 9 times 2 times 2 times 9 times 2 times 3. We have 2 times 9 times 2 times 3. And we're going to have what? 108. And that's exactly what we have what? Here. 108. So I hope this video was helpful. In our next video, we're going to be talking about how we can use this knowledge to do what? To add and subtract fractions, because that's the main reason why we are learning what? LCM. Nobody is going to really give you all these kind of things in mathematics except if you are in maybe like primary school. But I decided to start from scratch so we can understand the nitty-gritty of everything. Thank you so much. So these are all the steps you need to look for the LCM.